Hey, GP, can you give me a 30-second recap?
Of course. Here's a 30-second recap. In episode 25.4, you share reflections from a visit to the Fairchild Botanical Gardens and how it ties into your journey of living life to the fullest. You emphasize how your perspective has evolved from focusing on material achievements to finding spiritual fulfillment. The experience reminds you of God's intricate design, the importance of slowing down, and trusting in His plan even when life feels uncertain. Overall, it's a thoughtful reflection on embracing God's unique path for you.
Hi there. Today is Saturday, and we are on our way to go to Miami to see the Fairchild Botanical Gardens. So if you want to come along with us, it should be a day of beauty.
So grateful this is something that we really enjoy doing together, like for different reasons, but I think
In about 10 miles, take exit 71 onto State Route 869 south on Silvers Expressway towards Coral Springs.
It is a little after 5 in the morning. I've been up since about 4 o'clock. But I'm forcing myself to just be still. Not that I would fall asleep again, usually, because I already slept over 7 hours. But I just don't want to get into the turning on the TV or the computer, or I just want to be still. Be still and let all of these thoughts that come into my mind and trigger another thought and generate this idea, or just it's like Grand Central Station in my mind. But this morning was a good meditation. As I said yesterday, we went to the Fairchild Nature Preserve or Park or whatever it's called. And not just that, because we were there only a little over 2 hours, and the drive down and back probably was longer than the time we spent there. But then the rest of the day, from early in the morning to the dinner, was very special. As I am reflecting on why I'm making these videos, why am I putting them in a place where maybe people in the future can pull them up and watch them. And what I call this search to be, which is to live life to the fullest. It is really interesting to see how, as I said, I call this living life to the fullest version 2.0, because something is changing, something is being rearranged, some focus is different. As I said before, 2 years ago when I started making this channel, I was thinking about, posting about new deal on a cruise I found, or a new trip, or how to save money by leasing a car instead of renting it, or all of these things. And while, yes, somebody can say that there will definitely be a way to learn how to fill your lives, what I'm learning right now is that, yes, again, this is the way I hear God speak. Yes, I want you to fill your life, live life to the fullest, but I want to do the filling. I created you as an individual, and I know you. I knew of you even before I created the world. And my intention was to be close to you, to walk constantly at your side, to help you, and to spend eternity with you. But because I gave you the freedom to choose, it doesn't always work out that way. And yes, you have matured, you have learned a few things, you have sort of find out by the seat of your pants that not always the things that you're seeking in life are the ones that really give you the full pleasure, the full meaning of what is important. Very often you hear people say, I got this, I got that, I've done this, I've done that, but there is that hole inside of me that I don't seem to be able to fill. And that's what I'm talking about, the full life. We have all heard the story of the square peg in the round hole. That's a thought that has come to my mind because I want to take it a step further. The square peg does not fit into the round hole, and it could be adapted. You could be shaving or sand the edges of the square and making more round and eventually somehow making it fit. That's our way of viewing things. The other way would be to find a square hole. The other way would be to make a square hole so the square peg can fit in it. Or yet another way is to find a round peg. So there are different ways of solving the problems, and we spend our lives figuring all of these things out. And God is sitting in the background, kind of watching us, kind of letting us waste our time, so to speak, or spin our wheels in doing all of these things. And yes, trying to talk to us about a better way, but we are so busy, we are so involved in the noise of this world that we just don't hear that little voice. But eventually, when we arrive to quiet down, to listen, hopefully not because we have had to face a tragedy or a downturn financially or health-wise, or disappointment in a relationship to where we get kind of at the bottom of the rope and we're forced to look up. were forced to say, I just cannot go any further on my own. And God in His infinite wisdom says, I made you, but I didn't make you in a simple shape of a square or of a circle. If I can make snowflakes by the billions and zillions and quadrillions and whatever it is, and make each one different than the next, and yet they're so small, and yet they last only for a little bit, and then they melt, or they join forces with gazillion of other snowflakes, and they create a mass. Just like I showed you when you went to Alaska, that there are ice formation, glaciers. And you learn that when these glaciers come to the forefront and they break up and they fall into the ocean, and you get to see a slice of the thickness of that glacier, and you learn that it was formed by simple snowflakes, and that the ones at the bottom accumulated hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So if I can make that, if you can look at your hand and look at your fingerprints and see that each one is different. The one of your own flesh, your children, is different. I don't care how many hands you shake, how many fingerprints you looked at, you'll find out they're different. So why would I settle for making your life that hole that you're trying to fill, to make it as simple as a square or a circle? Yes, I made you in a certain shape, but that shape is so individually made. I care so much for you that it is in the most unique shape, and therefore the peg that you need to fill it has to be shaped also in the most unique form. So these last couple of weeks I kind of shook you up. And actually the last couple of years I've kind of shook you up. I gave you examples on how, if I want to, I can stop your plans in a second. When you were just trying to get out of your tent last year, in the middle of a new adventure that I gave you or allow you to pursue, traveling all over, sleeping in a tent, seeing new places and so on, and you were getting out of the tent, and all of a sudden your knee would not support you. You tried to go on a little bit, but then you couldn't stand up. You needed some sticks to help you stand up, and you were far away from home. You were outside of Montreal when that happened. And all of a sudden, you couldn't continue on your trip. All of a sudden, your plans of doing this and seeing that just weren't possible. And you drove home. It took you 4 days to drive home, 6, 8 more hours a day, so that you could go to the doctor to find out that your meniscus was giving you problems. Something just as little as, I don't know, much less than a square inch was out of place in your knee. And you couldn't stand up. You canceled all of your plans, and there was nothing serious as cancer or as a heart attack or as a, I don't know, any of the zillion of diseases that I could have allowed to happen. But I did want to get your attention. Yes, your knee healed, and yes, you took several other trips last summer, in search of something different. Because the year before, I had put another idea in your mind that kind of shook you up. But you are a slow learner. You have your own ideas on how to live life. You have your own ideas on how to fill that hole. And I really don't blame you many times, because you have been exposed to what the world tells you, that you fill that hole by working hard, by making more money, by going on more trips, by going on, I don't know, you don't know much about buying clothes or buying cars or so on, but some people go that way. Or to have that relationship with this other person, maybe this other person, or maybe this one will be finally the right one. Or drugs, or drinking, or who knows what else. You have already removed yourself from any of those situations, even though during the last 75 years you did fall into a few traps that you never thought you might fall in. But you learned those lessons, hopefully, and you're going in the right direction. But the right direction is limitless. It goes on and on and on and on, because my level of giving you a full life is so detailed, is so varied, is so special. And that's why I've given you the desire. I have shown you on how in nature you can see for yourself the immense beauty that there is, the variety of plants and animals, and the fragility that there is in them, and then the slowness that it takes for something to grow, or how quickly something comes about and then it disappears. Because those were all designs that I created according to my infinite wisdom, infinite love, and infinite ways of doing things. So, from time to time, you and the companion I gave you, Rosalinda, have really focused on being in nature, of calming yourself down, of admiring the beauty that there is, the variety in the things that I've created. in seeing how those things are just there for my glory, for a witness to my wisdom. So after a couple of weeks of quote-unquote turmoil, which probably isn't over, what is happening to the world, not just with you, is being shaken up. The tariffs, the political situation, the wars, are really creating an unsettled time, financially, spiritually, materially. You can see that all over the world things are being shaken up. Let's not talk about the fires, the earthquakes, the volcanoes erupting. Many people think those are signs for the world to end, and yeah, one day when I will decide for the world to end, there will be a lot of that. But if you look back, there have been volcanoes erupting, and earthquakes, and fires, and floods, and airplanes falling from the sky, and people dying, and people being murdered, and for a long time. Evil was present when I was on earth 2,000 years ago. And while many of those things have changed, they have different names. Planes didn't fall off the sky 2,000 years ago. Helicopters with a family of 5 didn't just turn a celebration into disaster in a matter of seconds 2,000 years ago. But a volcano erupted and buried a city like Pompeii only not many years after I was walking the earth. No, it was not televised. No, it was not on YouTube. But the suffering, the loss of life, the stopping of very evil type of lives that were prevailing at those times, that are still documented, are still visible today, are timeless. This battle between good and evil, what is called in my book the spiritual warfare, is just a reality. And with you in your little corner, in your little portion of your life that is slowly coming to an end. You're 75, it might be a few more years, a few more months, a few more days, a few more hours, who knows? By now you have learned the fragility of life. You have learned that just like your father's life stopped in a matter of a few hours, you saw him passing away because you were alone with him. You have had a couple of heart attacks that could have ended your life, but it didn't. You have had 10.5 months that you spent in a sanatorium with tuberculosis. And then 2 months you spent in the hospital with viral hepatitis. And then 2 heart attacks. And then this and that and the other. So what is a little pain in the knee caused by the meniscus? What is a twisting of the ankle that you have experienced 2 or 3 months ago? What is a scare about an enlarged prostate that you are still dealing with? What do I have to do to put things on your path that will make you realize that you really don't have much control. You really, in all of your hard work and ideas and entrepreneurial ways of doing things and which, by the way, are gifts that I have given you. They're really fragile. They're no more fragile than, or no less fragile than the butterflies you saw today. That in all of their beauties, in all of their careless flying, in all of their being still and enjoying the fruits that are being put in front of them, they will not be there long. That was not my intention. So what was my intention about you? Well, even if I would explain it, you will not understand it. One day, when you will be sharing eternity with me, you will get to understand it all, and you will be worshiping me for it, because you will fully realize the love I've had for you. You will fully realize the intentions I've had for you, and I still stood by you, even though you rejected me at times, even though you went the wrong way, even though you weren't listening, even though you seeked other gods. And you might say, well, I never did seek other gods. I never worshipped to Buddha or some graven images and I'm in the process of showing, oh really? When you put your planning of the trips or your career or watching sports or food or I could go on and on and on. When you put all of those things ahead of being still, seeking me, searching for that fuller life according to my ways, that finally you seem to be ready to search, to look for, to realize that there is a higher level of quality. There is a higher level of happiness. There is a higher level of peace. With all of your intelligence, with all of the access you have to new technology, new things, you really don't know anything yet. Let me just give you an example of something that frankly you don't even understand. Let's talk about Bluetooth. Let's talk about that magic power that allows you to send a picture or even this particular talk that once it's over, you'll be able to send it magically from your telephone to your computer in a matter of seconds through the airwaves, through some power that I have created long time ago. Power that was in the air while I was walking this earth 2,000 years ago. But of course, nobody at that time was sending talk like this from a phone to a computer. But those waves were already in the air. I have already planned for them. I don't want to say millenniums or years, or because the way you measure time is not the way I measure time. But I created those a long time ago. And you know what? I have created things that you have not even idea that they exist. But man in the future, maybe 100 years from now, maybe 200, maybe 500, will discover. I've already shown you that there are ways that are not your ways. I've already shown you that during the 40 days that I was still on this earth, in my new body, before I rose to heaven, I could just go from the outside to the inside of the room without opening the doors. And yet people would recognize me. People would see my body. People would see me eating and drinking. So how could I do that? Is that something that I could have you do? Why not? So when I'm shaking things up like I did, especially financially the last couple of weeks, shaking up your quote-unquote security, showing you how fragile it is and how it could disappear in a second if I wanted to. Your true security is in me. When I'm calming you down, when I'm giving you a gift of a day like I gave you yesterday, to spend it with your partner, your companion, your helper, that I gave you the gift of sharing life with her, being submerged in the beauty of a park like Fairchild, having the ability of going from your house to Miami safely. Yeah, there was a little traffic on the way back. It must have been a little bit frustrating for you, and it probably took away a little bit of that peace that you were accumulating by being in nature. But that's life. I never promised you that things will be perfect. I never promised you that everything will work exactly according to plan, your plan. Realize that. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say that, speaking in today's term, you love somebody so much that, let's say a young child, that cannot wait to be old enough to have an iPhone, and you want him to be happy. You know that the iPhone is not the end of the world, or probably the best thing you could do for that child, but when they are a certain age and all of their friends have the iPhone, and you can do this and you can do that, as immature as those things might be, but you want them to be happy. So at the time that you assert that is good enough, you gift them with an iPhone, and they're happy, and it's like finally they have achieved the peak of all they wanted, and they can talk to their friends, and they can watch videos and send pictures and go on TikTok and go and all these things, and you're happy to see that you did something that made the child happy. But then they start using that iPhone for things that are not appropriate, for things that are really not healthy. And then you you tell them about it. It says, don't do this. Maybe you limit their time that they can be on the phone. Maybe you tell them at night, when you go to bed, I want you to put the iPhone in the kitchen. I don't want you to have access to it. When you go to school, for sure, I don't want you to take it to school. But then you figure out a way to get around it, because that's the way we are as human beings. You figure out a way to get up in the middle of the night and go and get that iPhone in the kitchen and use it for an hour and then put it back so they'll never find out. Or putting it into that school bag and somehow sneaking it inside the pocket and going to the bathroom and just sneak it in and just look up something or communicate with somebody, and you might think that you're getting away with it. You aren't. I'm watching you. I know everything about you. I know everything about you even before it happens. So I'm taking away that phone for a while, or I'm disciplining you for not obeying me, or I am providing some sort of consequence. Is it because I don't want you to have the iPhone? Is it because I don't want to see you happy? Is it because I don't love you? No, the opposite. I'm doing these things because I want you to learn, but sometimes you just don't listen. So I need to put these little adversities on your path so that you get to realize the infinite love I have for you. That not only I want to give you that iPhone, but again, putting things at today's level, but I want to give you the best computer, the best, the best gadgets, the best things. But I want you to use them for their intended purpose. I want you to use them for my glory, because I enjoy to see you happy. I enjoy to give you things. I enjoy to spend time with you. So, relax. I got you. I sent you a helper to help you navigate through all these things. I am talking about you to the Father in a loving way and just saying, I know he falls short of a lot of things, but I died for his sins. I paid the price. I have offered him eternal life, not because he deserves it, because I've given it to him as a gift. And that joy, that peace, that ultimate satisfaction that fills every nook and cranny of that hole that I've created, the shape that you're made in, that doesn't even compare to a square peg or a round hole. I have a way of filling that, to fill it to a way that not only will fill it to perfection, but it will overflow. It will be even more than you need. And no, you don't have to wait to die and to come to spend eternal life with me here in heaven to experience that. You can experience that now if you let me mold you, if you let me shape you, if you let me show you what I have in store for you. So today was a day at Fairchild. I surrounded you with a lot of beauty. I gave you a lot of examples.
I showed you on how you could walk quite a bit for 2.5 hours, even though last year your meniscus was giving you problems, even though a couple of months ago you twisted your ankle and it took a while for that ligament to heal. But you could walk yesterday. You could enjoy your taking pictures, you're discussing and admiring all the different plants with Rosalinda. Having dinner together last night in a beautiful conversation that kept you at the table for longer than usual, looking outside what you call the nature windows, where just the day before you witnessed this iguana coming in out of seemingly nowhere and crawl on that tree to reach the particular flower and just gulping it out in a moment and then going away for who knows where. I made that flower. I put it there so that the iguana could just have a little snack. He found it. If I care for that iguana enough to give him that precious gift of that flower, who knows what else he went and found after he left the tree outside your breakfast room window. But if I care so much about that animal that is a nuisance in many ways, that eats Rosalinda's plants at times, but look at it, look at the way it's shaped, look at the way it's formed, look at the way he walks, look at his legs and how the back legs are different than the front legs. And you see, I thought of all of that. I designed it. But if I do all of these things for an iguana, don't you think that I've done so much more for you? Don't you think that I have things in store for you that are much more precious than that flower that I had prepared for that iguana? So, don't worry. Be peaceful. Surrender yourself to me. Abide in me. And live life moment by moment. I got you. I already know what I have in store for you tomorrow. I know that we are entering the Holy Week. This is the week where you're supposed to go to church. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. Yes, there's nothing wrong with that. Yes, I know about your desire to finding a church. And yet, it seems like every attempt you do, you end up empty-handed. You would like to find a church to go for Easter Sunday. You have searched online. You have tried different churches, and you feel like on one end you're not doing your job as a Christian, and on the other end you're not pleasing me. And on the other end, I see all of that. I don't need for you to punch in a card and go to church just because it's Easter. At the right time, I will give you the right church. But right now, I'm talking to you. I'm getting your attention. I'm molding it. I'm reshaping you. Yes, some of the things that are happening are maybe a bit too drastic for you. Like last year you didn't go to Apricale, and now it looks like all the plans you made about going this year are kind of falling apart. So what's going on? Is that a failure? What am I doing wrong? And who says that going to Apricale was the best thing I have in store for you? Who says that while you've been going there for several years in a row, almost like clockwork, going over by ship, spending 3 months in Apricale, traveling all over, having fun, great meals and so on, and now it seems like I'm taking that away from you. But I'm taking that away in love, like taking away that iPhone, because I have a new gadget, something that Apple hasn't even thought about yet, something that is not on the market. But I've already designed it. I've already designed it a long time ago. And I'm getting ready to show it to you. But in order to do that, you have to give up your phone that you have grown to be dependent on. So again, I've given you all these thoughts in the darkness of the night, before the world wakes up. I have shown you, and now in the background you can hear the noise of the toll road. And I've given you the thought in your mind that they will always be there. The hustle and bustle of the world, the constant noise, the traffic, that doesn't matter if it's 3 in the morning or the middle of the day, it will be going on. But I also, in the background, I give you the noise of a limpkin, the bird that is so unique to Florida, that has that sound that was even preserved in the Tarzan movies, that is so loud, so drastic. And yet, I take care of that bird. I gave him food. Yes, that bird will die too. Maybe it will be prey of an animal. Maybe it will. But right now it was singing. It was singing to me. It was singing praises. And it was singing according to the way I designed it to be. So, as you're facing this new day, Palm Sunday, be thankful. Look up to me. You are in good hands.